Good morning, Charlie. Good morning. Good morning. I just got out of bed. I threw my hair on top of my head, put on this beautiful blue scarf that Matthew gave me, and hey, drinking a flaming cup of coffee. Well, not really. I'm not going to do that, but I like to light it. It smells so good. I hope that you'll join me for a cup of coffee this morning. I have tales to tell. You know, I've been very kind of amused by some of the comments about Mel Belli on Facebook. Mel Belli didn't have any money. Mel Belli was flat broke, darling. He had wits. He had, I don't know where, he'd been rich at one time, but like so many people, you know, it didn't last. And when I knew him, they wouldn't even let him into some of the restaurants because he had such a big bill there. Trader Vic's was one. I found that out when I told Mel I wanted to meet him there, and he was sort of like edgy about it. And I called and made a reservation, and they said, we'll let you in, and Mr. Belli can come with you. But he owes us a great deal of money. And I said, well, that's up to him. So we went there, and Mel was very uncomfortable. But I want to disabuse you of that notion that he had money. He had a way of getting money in odd ways. And when I say, he was a scoundrel, he was nefarious too. And I have to acknowledge that. You know, one of the things Mel did that was just kind of mind-boggling to me at the time, he stole room keys from hotels all over the world. And at that time, they were beautiful. You know, the key would be attached to a big piece of wood or metal or something. And not like the electronic keys today. Who would want to collect those? And he had drawers full of those keys because he had traveled everywhere, pretty much. And he also stole silverware. Oh God! I was dating a thief. He stole silverware from hotels all over the world. And one time when we were in New York together, we had room service, and I was just appalled at how he started stuffing the room service silver into his suitcase. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, this is really nice, these are nice containers. And I said, but they belong to the hotel. I think it was the Plaza Hotel. And what he did then with me, like not quite knowing what to do, I watched, and he had a bellman carry it out and put it in our cab. And then later he said, well, I didn't steal it. The bellman's the one who took it out and put it in the cab. I didn't. I go like, oh, you are no good, you thieving bee. And as time went on, I really knew that I couldn't marry the man. You know, I loved the excitement of him. I to this day, I think about and laugh about the many experiences I had with him and the adventures. It was great. And I think it's important when you have a relationship that doesn't go all the way or doesn't end well, that you focus on the good things that happened. And I think that's hard to do because we want to focus on the bad. Well, he did this and he did that. But no, it's so much better to focus on the good. And one of the things that happened with Mel was, well, of course, he was drinking too much too, and I knew that would never work for me. But he came to my apartment one day, and I played the music. You know, music really chronicles our lives in so many ways, I think. And one of my favorite songs, and I love the musical Man of La Mancha, and Dreaming the Impossible Dream. And I played that over and over and over again, and I never got tired of it. And Mel was sitting in my living room, and he got up from the sofa and he lay down on the floor, and he started to cry. And he said, "Why do we have to die? Why do we have to die?" And, you know, I felt so sad for him that maybe later he came to terms with it, but I don't know. I felt such compassion for him. And, you know, that's something we all have to deal with. And I don't know of anyone who's gotten out of it. So we all have to deal with it. And it's something that I think we need to have a calmness about and an acceptance about. And say, okay, what's next? Because you know there's something next. May not in this form be, but you know, there's something next. And if there isn't, we won't know it. But anyway, I felt such compassion for him that later I decided to give a birthday party for him. He was away giving a speech somewhere, and so I arranged for a friend. I was with him. I'd forgotten. I was with him. But I called a friend of mine, Wally Wood, whom I adored, and he had worked at Joseph Magnin with me. He was what they called then a window trimmer, very creative and such a lovely man. And, you know, I loved him like a brother. And anyway, I called him and I told him where to find those room keys that Mel had stolen and the silver. And we took over the wine room at Ernie's, that wonderful, what was it called? Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, and I then invited people. I started making phone calls and left messages. And, you know, the well-known people of the world showed up for this party. And I had a band waiting on the tarmac in San Francisco. And, of course, you couldn't do that now, but we could do that then. And Mel was drunk, and he was wearing a lei of garlic. You know, he loved garlic, which didn't help our love life especially. But he loved it, and he had a lei around his neck. And the band played for him. And then, you know, I was trying to find out what was happening with Wally and getting everything set up because I wasn't there to oversee it. When we got there, everybody was there. I'm talking about Dick Clark, Paley, who was president of ABC, I believe. But anyway, that ilk of people. And Mel came in drunk. It was like one of those really embarrassing moments that I had no control over, of course. But no one had control over Mel Belli, nor, you know, we don't need to control anybody. But if they can't control themselves, sometimes it can be embarrassing. But everyone took it in stride, and we had a lovely meal and lots of toast. And everybody had a different set of flatware, of silverware, from a different hotel from around the world. One from the Plaza Hotel, say, one from a hotel in Bangkok, in Europe, wherever. It was like, I wish I had all that silver. Goodness, that's quite a collection. I wonder what happened to it. Anyway, Mel was delighted. But afterward, once he came to a bit, I said, I've got to talk to you, Mel. And I said, I can't date you anymore. I can't stay with you. And he said, I want to marry you. And I said, well, Mel, it's not going to happen. And I love you. I really do. I love your spirit. I love so much about you. But I couldn't possibly be married to you. So we broke up. And I go home, back to my apartment, of course, And I felt so lonely. You know that feeling when you've been with someone that you love or you care about or having fun with, and they're not there anymore. And there's that emptiness. It's such a lonely feeling. And so that went on for several days, and I got a phone call from Mel. And he said, baby, we need to have a breakup drink. And I said, okay, I really wanted to see him. He said, come down to my office. And he had that incredible office on Montgomery Street. And I'd often gone there to write. I would go down the winding staircase into a basement area, which was outfitted like a law library. It was incredible. And Mel would work and I would work, and that was great fun. So I knew the office really well. And I said, okay, I'll be down. And I went down there, and the rest is history. To be continued, darling. Keep drinking, keep drinking. We're going to get to Japan and that Shinto ceremony yet. And then the aftermath. Have a great day, darling.